And let's dedicate now, guys, a couple of minutes to the Rodri story. Because I told you yesterday, at this time in the morning, Real Madrid and Manchester City in official club-to-club contact for Rodri. And that's the case. Today, new contacts taking place. Real Madrid, Manchester City. Real Madrid yesterday indicated that they are ready to pay slightly more than 50 million euros. Manchester City are going to be in discussion with Real Madrid for Rodri over the next hours in order to understand the timing, in order to understand the cost, in order to understand the details of this story. But Real Madrid and Manchester City share a good relationship. They are talking, they are negotiating. Now we have to see if they can find an agreement on the fee, because the numbers of this deal are still important. Rodri has 1 year left on his contract, but Rodri is coming from a fantastic World Cup. Rodri is a Ballon d'Or winner. Rodri is a fantastic player, unique player, I would say. And so Manchester City are yet to give the green light because they want to have a direct conversation with Real Madrid and understand financially if they can make it happen or not. So already the next hours, there will be concrete contacts to understand more. Don't forget that on the other side, Manchester City are working very hard, I told you in the recent days and also in the last video, on Ayyoub Bouaddi. Manchester City are pushing for this one from Lille. The agreement with the player is very close. With Lille, Lille is underway, and Bouaddi to Manchester City is likely to happen immediately if Rodri leaves Manchester City this summer. Otherwise, could happen next summer 2027. It's going to be Man City, the player, and Lille to decide, but obviously the Rodri situation with Real Madrid on it is going to be really, really important. Many of you ask me why Manchester City didn't reply to this 50 million euros discussion with Real Madrid yesterday. Because Manchester City still feel there could be more clubs to join the dance. So it's going to be on Rodri to tell them, look, don't open doors to other clubs. Rodri is absolutely keen on Real Madrid, but it has to be Rodri to say, don't open the doors, only going to Madrid. So that's going to be part of the conversation as well, but for sure, Real Madrid are working now, yes, with the green light from Florentino on the Rodri deal.
Manchester City may be approaching the most important decision of their summer, because Real Madrid have now moved from interest to direct contact over Rodri. According to the latest update, talks between the two clubs are active. Real Madrid have indicated that they are prepared to pay slightly more than 50 million euros, while Manchester City have not yet given the green light. And that is where the tension begins. Rodri has only 1 year remaining on his contract. He is a Ballon d'Or winner, a World Cup standout, and one of the few midfielders in world football who can control a match almost by himself. But City also know the uncomfortable truth. If they reject every offer this summer and Rodri refuses to renew, they could lose him for nothing in 2027. So this is no longer a simple question of whether City want to sell. It is a question of timing, value and risk. Real Madrid believe they have a strong position. Rodri is understood to be keen on the move. Florentino Perez has approved the pursuit and the clubs have a good working relationship. But 50 million euros is unlikely to be enough. For City, selling Rodri at that price would mean losing a unique player for a fee that may not even cover the cost of his replacement. And that replacement could be Ayyoub Bouaddi. Manchester City are pushing hard for the highly rated Lille midfielder. Talks with the player are believed to be advanced, negotiations with Lille are continuing, and the deal could move quickly if Rodri leaves. That creates the first major twist. City may already know exactly who they want next, but they may not know when they need him. If Rodri stays for another season, Bouaddi could remain at Lille until 2027. If Rodri leaves now, City could accelerate immediately and bring Bouaddi into the squad this summer. In other words, one transfer appears tied directly to the other. Real Madrid want clarity on Rodri. Lille want clarity on Bouaddi, and Manchester City are standing between both deals, trying to protect themselves before making the decision that could reshape their midfield. But there is another layer to this story. City have not rushed to accept Madrid's early position because they believe more clubs could enter the race. That could increase the transfer fee. However, Rodri may have the power to close that door. If he tells Manchester City that Real Madrid are the only club he wants, City's leverage becomes smaller. They could still demand more money, but they would no longer be able to create a bidding war. That is why the next conversation may be decisive. Does Rodri ask City to negotiate only with Madrid? Does he leave the door open to other elite clubs? Or does he remain for one more season and walk away for free? Every option carries a cost. If City sell him now, they lose the heartbeat of their midfield. If they keep him, they risk receiving nothing next summer. If they replace him with Bouaddi, they are trusting a young player to step into one of the most demanding roles in European football. Bouaddi may be one of the best young midfield talents in the game, but replacing Rodri is not like replacing an ordinary starter. Rodri dictates the tempo, protects the defence, breaks pressure, and controls the emotional rhythm of major matches. A new midfielder would not only need technical quality, he would need personality, discipline, and the confidence to receive the ball when an entire stadium is waiting for one mistake. That is why City's plan may involve more than simply buying a replacement. They may need to change how the entire midfield works. Bouaddi could bring energy, mobility, and long-term potential, but City may also need experienced support around him, especially if Rodri leaves before the new season begins. And this is where Manchester City supporters should pay close attention. The story is not only Rodri to Real Madrid. It is the beginning of a possible midfield transition. One of the greatest players of City's modern era could be moving towards the Bernabeu. At the same time, one of Europe's most exciting young midfielders could be moving towards Manchester. That sounds like a clean exchange of eras. But football is rarely that simple. Real Madrid still have to meet City's valuation. City still have to reach an agreement with Lille. Rodri still has to make his position completely clear, and Bouaddi still has to decide whether he is ready to carry the pressure that comes with replacing a Ballon d'Or winner. So, City supporters, what would you do? Would you accept a major fee now and begin the next era with Bouaddi? Or would you keep Rodri for one final title challenge, even if it means losing him for nothing next summer? Because this transfer may look like one player leaving and another arriving, but in reality, it could decide the identity of Manchester City's midfield for the next decade.